Well, hey there, writer. Welcome to the Resilient Writers Radio Show. I'm your host, Rhonda Douglas, and this is the podcast for writers who want to create and sustain a writing life they love. Because, let's face it, the writing life has its ups and downs, and we want to not just write, but also to be able to enjoy the process, so that we'll spend more time with our butt in chair getting those words on the page. This podcast is for writers who love books and everything that goes into the making of them. For writers who want to learn and grow in their craft and improve their writing skills. Writers who want to finish their books and get them out into the world so their ideal readers can enjoy them. Writers who want to spend more time in that flow state. Writers who want to connect with other writers to celebrate and be in community in this crazy roller coaster ride we call the writing life. We are resilient writers. We're writing for the rest of our lives, and we're having a good time doing it. So welcome, writer. I'm so glad you're here. Let's jump right into today's show. Hey there, writer. Welcome back to another episode of the Resilient Writers Radio Show. I'm excited today to be talking with Annie Dike. Annie writes raw, relatable fiction based loosely on her life and adventures, and she's written numerous legal treatises as a lawyer. She's written multiple Amazon #1 best-selling sailing books and articles for Sail magazine, and she also has a travel blog, havewindwilltravel.com. But Clovis is her debut literary fiction novel, so we're going to be talking a lot about that today. Annie grew up in Clovis, New Mexico. She is an attorney by profession. She works remotely and has spent the last decade cruising the east coast of the United States and the Eastern Caribbean with her partner Phillip on their 46-foot sailboat, which sounds frankly amazing. Welcome, Annie. Great to have you.
Thank you. It sounds a little more exotic than it really is, but I like it.
It's probably a lot of work, I imagine. Yeah. So, you have written quite a number of nonfiction books on sailing.
Right.
So when did you decide, oh, okay, I think I want to write a novel now?
To swap over to fiction. Yeah, so the sailing books really grew out of the blog, the Have When We'll Travel blog. And they're just fun, more self-deprecating, kind of like think me out there not knowing what to do, which line to grab, what thing to do. And they're more fun. They're supposed to put you in the scene of sailing. And those did well. I enjoyed those, and I promoted those at boat shows and things. And I have written some fiction in the past. I have a women's fiction. It's called A Civil Affair. You may see it like back in my old books. So I've dabbled in it before, but my writing started to improve. Yeah, I was writing more books and things. And I started to have a desire to write about my childhood, like the nostalgia, the feel. The Clovis is a lot about my childhood. That's really the heart of the book. And so that's where, it was funny because the boating, Rhonda, translates to my upbringing. It's kind of interesting, but I was a cowgirl and I grew up following my dad.
There can't be a lot of boats in New Mexico, I'm thinking, though.
Not, right? I know, that sounds silly, right? We're waterlocked, right? But I'll tell you, owning a boat and sailing a boat is a lot about maintenance. It's about pliers and screwdrivers and butyl and tape and bilge pumps, and all that stuff made a lot of sense to me as a cowgirl. So in my mind, a lot of what I remember from my childhood translates to sailing. It's a lot of fixing things. It's a lot of resourcefulness. It's a lot of grittiness, and so those stories come to mind when I'm on the boat. And so I was very much inspired to gather my childhood up and share it with the world.
And so, can I ask why you called it Clovis? I mean, I know that's where you grew up, but, you could have called it anything.
No, that's a great question. And I wanted a unique name that wouldn't really, register anything else like mouse or tiger, it was a unique name, had no meaning to other people primarily. And also for me, it's like a chapter of my life.
Right.
So let's say if you lived in London for a time or something and something happened to you there, when you're talking to people, you're gonna be like, remember that was in London. And they're like, ooh, it's a chapter. For me, it's a very significant chapter of my life. So I liked that. And I like that it's a location, because what I've kind of built on, Rhonda, is I'm working on the sequels and their locations too. Like the sequel to Clovis is called Austin. And it's like another part of her life and another chapter. So that's the purpose of that.
So is this autobiographical fiction? Like, are you really taking your life and then fictionalizing it?
In Clovis, very much so. I would say the whole beginning of the book until about college, kind of high school, college. The main character's name is Callie, a
Hmm.
very not so disguised version of me,
Hmm.
Annie. But for the most part, the beginning of the book, I don't call it a biography or a memoir because I didn't stick with nonfiction.
Right.
It changes the middle of the book, but everything in the beginning is about, I would say, 92.5% true.
Okay. All
So
right.
all of that
So you're
is
really
real.
drawing on what actually happened to you in your childhood. Yeah.
Yes,
And where did
a
you
lot
write
to pull
this?
from.
Were you writing on the boat?
Very, oh yeah, very much so.
Okay.
Clovis was written entirely on the boat.
So how do you do that?
Yeah, it's on passage it's harder
Yeah.
when the boat's moving. I have my laptop right here with me that
Okay.
goes everywhere, and you just find moments of time that you
Okay.
can isolate yourself. And down below, I mean, the boat is a
Mm.
beautiful cabin. It's very
Right.
secluded, and
Okay.
and we have AC and heat and things like this. So
Okay.
I'm not like bundled up like a
Right.
homeless person, which I've
Right.
done many times out in the winter in the
Right.
cold.
Right. Yeah.
The boat's very comfortable, but yeah, we travel a lot, so we go port to port. And the cool part, Rhonda, is I'll find myself writing in coffee shops all over
Right.
the United States.
Oh, that's
And
great.
that's a fantastic way to write a novel.
Mhm. Yeah.
It was written in many, many, many coffee shops
I love
too. I
that. That's
I
so
love
great.
that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And were you also working as a lawyer while you were finishing the book?
Yes, I work as a lawyer currently, and so
Yeah.
mostly what I do with my law degree, it's a little bit different because I work remotely. I do a lot of marketing for other law firms, so
Okay.
I can do their marketing well because I am a lawyer. I know the lawyers
Right.
speak, I know the law, so I
Right.
know the things to promise and not promise. So it
Right.
helps to have the law degree to do the marketing. But the legal work I do for other lawyers. Like other
Okay.
lawyers will tap me to write a brief or write a motion.
Okay.
So I'm not really working on with the client directly, which is
Right.
nice for me. It
Right.
takes me away from the action. So
Right.
I'm more of an independent contractor doing
Yeah.
support on the back end. And I like that. I
Right.
prefer that.
So are you working full time when you're trying to write a novel or
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
And I say full time, my marketing stuff is, it's very much freelance and remote.
Mhm.
But it's probably, it takes 20-ish hours a week. It's
Okay.
not anything to sneeze at. And the rest of the time I spend writing or I do my blog and all the
Right.
other things. And
Okay.
marketing my book is my main career.
Right. And
I
fixing
would,
the
this takes all
bilge,
the
fixing the bilge pump or whatever needs to
Exactly. In
be
between all
done.
that, right?
Yeah.
I got like a screwdriver in my teeth and I'm typing,
Right.
Give
Totally.
me that
So
wrench. I got this.
what was the biggest challenge of taking, a true to life story of your childhood and turning it into fiction?
For me, the childhood stories, the hardest part was I was going to expose other family members, to
Mm,
the truth of what
mhm,
what had happened and what was out there. And I was very worried about my dad at first
mm,
because it's an honest portrayal.
yeah,
And my dad will be the first to tell you he's done things in his life he's not super proud of.
right.
But my dad and I have a wonderful relationship. He's a main character in the book. He teaches Callie so many lessons about joy and pain and loss and
Okay.
time.
Mm,
And I talked to my dad, and I told him, I was like, hey, this is in here. And what he told me was if I wrote truthfully, if it was honest, then he didn't worry about it at all. He's like, it's
really?
what it is.
Wow.
It is.
Okay.
And I was very proud and amazed. And he's a lot of the things he's done, that he's not proud of, he's reformed and gone to
Mm,
church and he witnesses to people. And so it's actually a part of his story. It's an important part of
right.
his story.
Right.
And I gain a lot of perspective from him. So that was hard exposing people, I will say. For me, telling the truth wasn't hard because it helps me to get vulnerable and share that. I find people that have gone through it and I connect and it just makes
Mm,
it easier and better. So it wasn't hard for me, but I was worried about the people I was going to, reveal and what they'd
mm.
done.
Was there anyone other than your father you were concerned about? Did you talk to anyone else?
My brother, he's a
Okay.
huge
Yeah.
character in the book, and I don't want to reveal something because a big arc of the book is part of his story, and it's kind of a big reveal. And I was concerned about how I portrayed him initially, and
Mm,
some of the stories and whether that would hit home for him and resonate. And
okay.
honestly, it's the book is so dense for him, Rhonda, that my brother's still reading it. Like it
Oh,
takes
wow.
him
Okay.
back to Clovis. Like I said,
Okay.
Clovis is such a word for us that he has to read it really slow because it
Okay.
just he dreams it at night when he reads my book. He goes to
Okay.
Clovis in his dreams. So he's taking his time with it. It's a little tougher for my brother. It's
Okay.
very close to home. It is
Oh,
home.
wow. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the big challenge of autobiographical fiction, isn't it? It's like you are fictionalizing things,
Yes.
but you're also telling the truth about some of the things that have
Mhm.
happened. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it can be challenging.
It can be
Um,
very cool.
did you experience anything, going from nonfiction to fiction? Did you have any challenges making that leap or
Actually, I
not?
think that it's so much more fun to me, Rhonda.
Oh, okay.
I love that I have a rich history to pull from. I'm really glad that I have so many stories. I think many of my books will contain several of my childhood stories just because
Right.
they're so important to me and rich. So I'm lucky I have all that. But what's wonderful in fiction is you just branch out, Rhonda. You
Mm-hmm.
create characters with backstories and
Yep.
occupations. And
Oh, yeah.
I find myself researching such cool things. Like every time I invent a new character, well, what occupation do they have? Where did they go to school? What kind of clothes do they wear? What bands are they into?
Right.
And that is so much fun. I love the fiction writing more. I
Mm,
love to expand and reach out.
right.
But it's funny that everything you write is based in truth. You know, Rhonda, all my
Hmm.
characters have, elements of people I know or the places. And so
Right.
nothing's really original, but it's taking all these parts and mashing them back together a different way. And that's really
Okay.
fun for me.
Right. Okay. And I mean, I feel like authors do that all the time, right? Like we overhear
It's, yeah.
something in a coffee shop, or we have an aunt and a little bit of the aunt ends up in our
Yes.
character, that kind of thing. So,
It's funny, you don't know you're doing it sometimes, Rhonda. I have
yeah.
family members, they'll be like, "Did you base this character on such and such?" And I'll be like, "I didn't know I did." I'm like, I
Oh, but I
did. Like
think I
right when they
did.
say it,
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Yeah. I had
Yeah.
no clue, but I often don't know when I'm doing it.
Okay. Wow. All right. And tell me a little bit about your publishing journey, right? So you finished the book.
Sure.
What was your decision around publishing, and why did you make that decision?
Sure. So Clovis, I'll tell you the publishing journey because writers are very interested in this. When I first wrote it, and I'm a pretty prolific writer in that I write a lot. I don't mean I write well. It pours out of me. That's maybe not a good thing because it's a big pile of stuff that I have to deal
Right.
with.
Yeah.
Clovis was about 3 times her size when I first
Oh,
finished her.
wow. Okay. Right.
So those familiar with writing, she was
Yeah.
255,000 words.
Oh
She was a
my
beast.
Lord. So
Yeah.
how did you make the decisions to cut that down to, the size of a debut novel?
Yeah, so I brought an editor in, I brought an editing team
Okay.
in, and I was very much bumbling around on my own. I'll tell you, if any authors out there, you're starting, you're just going to search the internet for professionals to help you. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's very hard who to trust, who to,
Yeah.
lean on. These are very hard things, and you're going to make mistakes. It's okay. You're going to hire
Yeah.
people that let you down. It's okay. Just get out there and try. I found some editors that I really did like in New York, and it was pricey. I'm not going to say anything's
Mhm.
cheap. I mean, this is just the reality of it.
Yeah.
But they took me on, which was nice because it was a big project. And what he did, Rhonda, it was really cool in that I explained it this way to people. If you were to take my novel and just like explode it on the wall, all the pages, black and white, I can't see what needs to be cut. It all looks
Yeah.
relevant to me.
No,
I'm the author,
totally.
right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I'm not a huge like, oh no, don't take that out. I'm like, just tell me what to cut. I don't
Right.
understand what to cut to keep the story good. I'm very much make it good. But what he did, it was almost like he painted it. Like he
Mhm.
was like, this is inner dialogue that's going nowhere. This is a repeat of story you've already told somewhere else.
Okay.
This is, I'm trying to think, a dialogue with no conflict. They're just talking and there's no conflict. He gave me these like indicators. All of a sudden, I could look at my novel and see purple and yellow and green, and
Right.
it got really easy. I'll just say that the
Okay.
cutting got easy. I
Right.
understood what to cut.
Right.
And he helped me very much with that. And I enjoyed it. And the book got so much better. There was so much just
So
me
you
babbling
enjoyed
on
it.
and on. I
You
enjoyed it.
Oh,
I loved it.
wow. Okay.
It
Because
was a
not everybody
great,
does. Like some people
I,
find that process painful.
I can see that. And I mean, and there were moments that are hard. I'm staring at a paragraph and it's just me. And I'm like, oh, I'm in my own head. But I did it. And what I'll tell you, it taught me to do, Rhonda, is just write books better. Like I've already written the sequel to Clovis, and the writing of that was so organized and flowed nicely. And I just had a path and a mission. And he's taught me how to write books better. So it was worth the cost, even
Yeah.
though you had asked about the journey. I tried to get published traditionally after I finished that big editing. And my hope was with that editing group, behind me, it would work. Didn't work. That's okay. I pitched to literary agents for about 2 months or so, and maybe should have gone longer, harder. You never know, but
Right.
nobody
Yeah.
was grabbing it, and I was really excited about her. And I thought, you know what? Here we go. I'm going to try. I've done it before. I had done it with the sailing books that you've seen.
Mm,
This time it's been harder. I will tell you that it's a bigger world out there and more people have
mm,
self-published. Because when I
yeah,
did it the first time, this was like 12-ish years ago. It was brand new.
yeah,
You
yeah,
were kind of like a cowboy out there, like,
yeah,
woo. That's not the case anymore, which is great. I'm so
yeah,
glad people are able to put their books out there, but it's been difficult to get above the noise, and I'm working on that
right.
now.
Yeah.
But I love it. I'm passionate about it. So I self-published Clovis in September of last year.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you.
Um, I mean, I think, the world has changed so much and there's so much
Yes.
opportunity.
Yeah.
The agent game really is a numbers game. Like, I think if you're going to do it, you need to be prepared to get out 200 packages, be rejected 199 times, and
I
it
am
can
so
take up
glad you're
to a
saying
year.
that.
Yeah.
Right
It
now,
can take a year.
I have a guy who's helping me do that. He's sent 87,
Yeah.
87. And so far, we've had one wants to read it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a numbers game. It's
No, it's
totally a
totally a
numbers game.
numbers game. And
And
so
I
you
try not to
really
get
can't,
dejected.
yeah.
I
Well,
want to
and you
tell
really
your
can't
authors
take the rejection personally. Like it's not a comment on you. They
it's
might have
not.
just sold something kind of similar. Like it's
You
so,
never know. You
yeah,
never
so
know. But I
simple.
will tell authors out there, trust me, I wake up many, many days. I have sold no books. My
Right.
followers haven't changed at all. There's no
Yeah.
email from an agent. And I've just got to say, you know what? I'm just going to keep writing today. I love doing this.
Yeah,
Because you wake up and
absolutely.
get your teeth
Yeah.
kicked in some days.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
It
Well, and I
takes a
think,
thick skin.
that's I just think that's how we do it. We publish the book and then we start writing the next one.
Yeah. The marketing is something we have to focus on, unfortunately. I don't love it, but I love the story. So I tell myself I'm doing it for the book, and that actually makes it feel a lot better for me. I see you're catching your breath, which is fine. I think that's easier. So for authors out there, tell yourself you're doing it for your story. You're not doing it for you personally, and I always feel better about it that way. But it's hard. It's a tough world out there.
And
There's a
you have a
lot of
marketing
books.
background. So talk to me about the kinds of things. I mean, obviously you're doing podcasts.
Mhm.
What other things are you doing in order to promote Clovis?
I just started, so I'm very excited to share this with the Method Agency. If anyone wants to Google that, look at that. A wonderfully brilliant marketing team, and you're going to find, everybody that offers services is costs money. It's just part of it. They're doing work for you. So, but I found them to be savvy and creative and on the cutting edge of stuff, and they're really helping me put out the kind of content that you see that goes viral is the best way I can put it. I
Okay,
have never been a viral content creator.
right.
I just create stuff I like, but they're teaching me how to create stuff that will actually get traction in the digital world. And that's new for me.
Okay,
I'm not used to that. So I'm kind of pushing myself out of my comfort zone doing these videos,
right.
but hey, we're all
And
trying.
were
So
you on social media and doing social before that?
I was. It just wasn't very successful because I'm learning now. I wasn't saying the right things, wasn't
Hmm.
flipping the right switches.
Right.
It's all learned skills, and we all can learn them as much as
Yeah.
we hate them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm working on that really hard, and I don't do as much in-person stuff. Me personally, I could run around and do book clubs and book signings because I travel a ton. Like we travel
Right.
so much that I want my platform to be mostly digital. That's my preference, so I can do it anywhere.
Hmm.
But so that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm really trying to get the digital side going.
Okay. And so you finished Clovis and then you started the
Mhm.
next book. Tell me a little bit about the next book. Is it Austin?
It is Austin. I
Okay.
love Austin. So, have
I've
you
never
read
been. I'd
Clovis?
love to go.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't. I'll say Austin is my big time fiction book because it's.
Okay.
I really haven't been to Austin either.
Okay.
From when I said in Clovis that about college age, I switched
Right.
out to fiction. I stayed on fiction. So Austin
Okay.
is entirely fiction, which is
Okay.
cool. But it picks up right where Clovis left off. So
Okay.
if you know Clovis without revealing anything, at the end, the main character is about to head out west to try to find a family member. And so you're going to go out west. You're going to find the family member. You're going to be
Okay.
introduced to her, and that whole novel carries on. And what I love about Austin is I like to play around with narration, Rhonda, different ways to tell the story. And in Clovis, it was all first person with my main character, Callie,
Hmm. Hmm.
but different voices. I call them voices. You hear from other people in the book, like they'll get a
Right.
chapter and
Right.
get to tell you their perspective, which I think is massively important to storytelling. So that was a big deal for me. In Austin, what I tried was dual first person. So
Okay.
there's one female and then another female and one female and another female. And then I have some like mystery journal kind of things and a surprise narrator at the end. But that stuff is so fun to play with. And
Right.
I'm really excited about that. And Austin is, I'm learning Clovis is very literary fiction, that it's very deep and intense writing and emotional. And Austin is more upmarket. It's a little more kind of slicker, sexier, easier read.
Okay. So more
So
commercial.
I think, yeah, I'm learning. Here's what I'm learning is literary, commercial, upmarket supposed to be right in between. It's
Yeah.
kind of what they're telling me. So that's where Austin's falling. I'm
Okay.
learning.
And why did you decide to, because you're writing a sequel, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm actually writing a trilogy.
You're writing a trilogy. Okay.
Yeah.
How did you decide that this was a trilogy?
Well, when I first wrote Clovis, funny when Clovis, when I finished it, Rhonda, and it was like the 255,000 words, I was like, well, heck yeah, I just wrote a trilogy right there. That's 3 books long. Like, come on.
Three books
And
in
I told
one.
the whole agent team, I was like, break it up, make it 3 books. I'm so tired. But it wasn't. They were right. It's not good enough on its own. So Clovis, when I finished it up and tied it in a bow, I knew I was going to do a sequel. And during the sequel is when I decided on the trilogy part. So to explain it, it's pretty cool. Clovis, I would say the trilogy, one, two, three, it goes like two, three, one. So Clovis is probably number two.
Okay.
And then you go forward in time with Austin, which is number three, and you go forward in time. And then Roswell, like I said, another
Yep.
location, that's going to be the third I'm thinking of. You go back in time to like the mother of Callie, and it's her whole
Oh,
story in like the 1960s. So we're going back in time. It kind of reminded me of, I think Jeanette Walls did one like about her
yeah, yeah.
grandmother called
Hmm.
Half Broke Horses.
Yep.
It's kind of like that. And I didn't know that until I started writing it. And then I saw that she'd done something like that. But that's what's happening. And I'm
Okay.
loving it, Rhonda. I wish I could write the whole time and not market.
Right, right,
But
right.
that's
Yep.
okay. It's
Yep.
wonderful. It's a great story. And it's all centered on my mom. I'll tell you, Rhonda, I can tell these books are, I focus on mother-daughter relationships. They
Right,
fascinate me.
right.
All three of these books focus on my mom.
Okay. And are you drawing from like in Austin and you know, the final book of the trilogy, are you still drawing from your own life or not so much?
Austin, no, because it's all fiction, which
It's
is
all
cool.
fiction.
That would just be the things I would want to
Right.
happen to those characters next. Roswell, I would say yes, in that it's my mother's life. So it will be
Okay.
my mother's childhood. So very not my life, but true
Hmm.
to her tale, or true with some fiction. I'm still
Yeah.
deciding and kind of working on that, but
Okay.
inspired very much so by my mother's story. Which why it's important is that Clovis, Callie is so informed by her mom's choices and actions and conduct that I
Right.
think many readers would be very intrigued to go back to see what Callie's mom's upbringing was like.
Right.
Why did she come out the way she was?
As we all are as daughters, right?
Right. Right.
We're so guided by the relationship with our mothers. Yeah.
It is. It's a
So
fascinating one.
you're not traveling now. You're at home.
Well, we call this our international travel chapter.
Oh,
So
okay.
we've got the boat is parked currently, and actually we're selling the sailboat because we're going to buy a power boat in the next few years. But for
Okay.
this chapter right now, we wanted to go. We're going to Africa, which is really cool. We've
Where
never
in Africa
been.
are you going?
We're going to South Africa, Botswana, and Zimbabwe.
Lovely.
Oh,
Amazing.
thank you. I know. I'm
Yeah.
so excited. But on the
Yeah.
boat, it's very hard to plan big trips like that because you've got to
Right.
park the boat somewhere and all this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So we've never been, we've always wanted to do like Croatia and, all
Yep.
these things, go to Montreal for like a month. And so all this stuff now we're planning, which is really
Right.
cool. We had a trip to Dubai, but it got canceled.
Hmm.
That's okay. But this is our international travel chapter. It's kind of what we're talking about since we
Okay.
are putting the boat aside for a second. So it's
So,
fun. We've got Africa on the books. I'm
so
excited.
what's your plan for fitting in? I don't know about you, but I always find it um a little hard to write when I'm traveling because you're traveling, so you're in Africa, you're going to be probably going on safari, doing things during the day,
Right.
exploring, trying to how are you going to fit in the writing?
Great question. My problem is I love to write so much I want to. I actually have to
Yeah.
find the time to pack myself away. But the good news is, and we like this, my partner Phillip, he works too. Okay. And so there, you know what I mean? It fits because he'll have to take a call or do a Zoom thing or,
Okay.
he's
So
like,
you're
I've got to
all
review
right, I'm
stuff
going to
this
write.
morning.
Yeah.
Right. And so I would love to go out and just walk and see and do, but if he's working too, I would love to write in this setting that's
Right.
very new to me and exciting and inspiring. So for me, I'm lucky and then that just works well. If I had a partner that never worked, I would struggle because I would want to write and he and I would probably fight a little bit. So
Yeah.
I'm lucky in that Phillip works too. So I
Yeah.
squeeze it in then. But I look forward to writing during my travels just as much because I
Okay.
get inspired by the people I see.
Are you someone who can write on an airplane? I don't know why, but I never can. I tell
Oh,
myself I
really?
will, and then I don't. Do you write on an
Oh,
airplane?
I can write anywhere. It's
Oh, wow.
terrible.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
I could do it anywhere. The coffee shops are my favorite. I love to
Yeah.
be able to see people. But yeah, I've written on planes many times. And Philip will put on a movie and try to get me to watch the movie. And I'm like, I'm writing. And he's so sick of hearing that. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's with the writer, so it's his fault.
Yeah, yeah. So, when did you become a writer in your life? Like, were you always a writer, or was there a moment where you were like, I think I'm going to take my life on this sailboat and, put it down on paper?
I love it. I'm going to say yes because I get asked this a lot, and I've had a couple podcasters ask me about when I started writing and things. So I went back to my scrapbooks and I found like I used to do these little Sweet Valley High newsletters that I would write just myself, like
Oh my
oh the high
God.
school
Yeah.
secrets and who's crushing on who, and I found them. I'm going to post them on my socials because
I love
this was
that.
like fifth grade. I was doing that, and then I actually wrote, this is silly, but a book. My aunt found this like send your story in and they put it in a book kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
And I was like 10 years old and I wrote I wrote a little storybook then. So I've been writing forever. I think it's just words have been ingrained in me from the beginning.
Mhm.
Clovis is very true to my brother and I knew education was the key. Like we
Yeah.
knew that was going to get us up and out and successful. And so reading and words were important from day one. So I would
Yeah.
say forever because I've been writing those little stories since I was a kid.
Oh, I love that. That's so great. All right. Well, the book is called Clovis. I will put a link in the show notes so you can find it there. Thanks so much for talking to me today, Annie. It was really delightful chatting with you.
This was my pleasure. Thank you, Rhonda, and good luck, all those authors out there. Keep at it.
Thanks so much for hanging out with me today and for listening all the way to the end. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Resilient Writers Radio Show. While you're here, I would really appreciate it if you'd consider leaving a rating and review of the show. You can do that in whatever app you're using to listen to the show right now, and it just takes a few minutes. Your ratings and reviews tell the podcast algorithm gods that yes, this is a great show. Definitely recommend it to other writers. And that will help us reach new listeners who might need a boost in their writing lives today as well. So please take a moment and leave a review. I'd really appreciate it, and I promise to read every single one. Thank you so much.